I think I'm cute. I got gold medals. I've got the moves that makes 'em all tap out. The angle slam, the ankle lock. Marty Jannetty still can't walk. I'm just a sexy Kurt.
Sexy Kurt.
I'll make your ankle hurt.
Ankle hurt.
I'm just a sexy Kurt.
Sexy Kurt.
I'll make your ankle hurt.
Ankle hurt. Stop. I quit. Ah! Jesus Christ. It's so hostile in this house. Will you take
I'm
that
down.
mask off?
I'm down.
We have a show to record.
You need a Snickers?
Oh, now he's angry. Okay, now he's a little less angry. All right, he's fine.
Sleeping. Oh.
So stupid. I don't know.
Should I do it?
Yeah, I don't know why we let Eddie do these dumb things. Zach, hit the intro.
Okay.
When are we back?
Now.
Are we back?
He went through a euphoric state there for a second and was like,
Has the intro been hit? I'm so confused.
Dude, just start the episode already.
I didn't know you wanted to do something. Come back in. You're gonna come back in here and talk to me like that. Oh, all right. All right, I'm gonna bring us in. All right. Hey yo.
My hair looks so bad.
Welcome back to the Too Heavy Wrestling Podcast. You got me, the bad guy. Got my Scott Hall shirt on today. You got Zach. We got Eddie. Coming here talking about your wrestling for you.
I'm the stinky guy.
Stinky.
Stinky.
Let's see if I can do this. Ready? Just like this, like the bad guy.
Dude, my carpet!
Nailed it. That's fine. All right.
oh no.
All right. We got some wrestling to talk about today.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I got a whole list of topics here. Did we want to talk about all of them? I don't think we cut any of them out.
I don't think we should cut any of them out.
All right. I'm going to run through this and then we'll run through it. That's how podcasting works. 101. I should charge people for that.
Oh.
All right. So first we got Mustafa Ali wins the Intercontinental Battle Royal match to face Gunther at Night of Champions. Indus Sher makes their debut. Veer Mahan, Jinder Mahal, and Sangha. Sangha. Got it.
Tonga.
Seth Rollins is in a movie, specifically a Marvel movie. I don't know if you guys actually knew what movie
Captain
it is.
America.
Captain America: New World Order.
That's probably why. It's because of the New World Order
We'll
thing.
see if there's
WWE
little any
reference.
Easter eggs about it. The opening segment on SmackDown this week with the Bloodline and the tag team champs. I thought that was really cool. The women's tag team titles are vacated. We'll talk more about that. And then at least 2 new debuting tag teams on SmackDown this week. Pretty Deadly and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
And
Was there another one? Was
not
there
a tag team.
another tag team that debuted on SmackDown?
Not a tag team.
Who else?
Grayson Waller.
Oh, well, not in a match, but yes, Grayson Waller did show up. Cameron Grimes showed up the prior week, but he had a backstage segment this week. A lot to talk about. Big week in terms of, I guess we would call it the landscape moving forward as a result of this draft.
Right.
I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. So we'll start with the Raw stuff. So we'll start with Mustafa Ali winning the Intercontinental Battle Royal. What do you guys think?
I mean, give him some TV time. I kind of agree with that, but he's a heel.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a heel, right?
He has that positivity thing where he's accidentally doing things wrong, but
Yeah.
he's in a positive thing.
It's up in the air. I don't really know what his character is supposed to be in terms of face or heel. I know
So
what
he wins, but then he tries to make it a positive thing for his opponent, where he's like, "Yeah,
I don't like that for.
it just reminds me of the early, like the early days of the New Day, the power of positivity, and how like the fans reacted negatively, so they took that power of positivity into a heel run.
So is Mustafa Ali going to start throwing pancakes and twerking?
I mean, that is historically speaking the natural progression.
Okay.
You go
I
from.
hope he does that at Night of Champions.
Do you
Starts
want
twerking
him to
at Night of
twerk at Night of
Champions.
Champions?
Yeah, specifically because of where they're at.
That'd be kind of funny, actually. But
I don't
yeah,
think twerking's banned.
well, here before we go too far into twerking,
You're away from politics.
do we think Mustafa Ali is gonna win at Night of Champions?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I do.
You're
you
lying.
You don't think Mustafa Ali is gonna go over on Gunther and Imperium?
If he goes over on Gunther, if Mustafa Ali's the guy to beat Gunther,
to be Gunty Wunty?
to beat Gunty Wunty,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do,
No,
but I'll be really mad.
Obviously, I don't really think that, but I mean, I can't tell if this is one of those moments where I should be happy that someone who usually doesn't get pushed is getting pushed and we're getting something fresh and like this is exactly what we asked for, or if I should be upset that it is so obvious that he's going to lose that there's no point in even watching the match.
It depends on WWE's booking, because if it's a one-off, then yeah, it's for nothing. But if it keeps him on TV and pushing towards something else, then yeah, I mean...
Do you think it starts a feud with Gunter long term?
No. Please.
No.
I don't think so.
I think it's a transitional feud.
I mean, what is next for Gunther after going over on Mustafa Ali?
Money in the Bank, maybe.
Winning
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed's a good choice.
I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think Bronson Reed will feud with him.
Because you're a big Bronson Reed fan.
I think they need to turn him face, but I don't think he's at that. Like, I think he's too deep into being heel-esque.
Gunther, you mean?
No, Bronson Reed.
You want Bronson Reed to be face?
I think they'd have to turn him face to feud with him.
Got it. Okay.
And I don't know how that'd go because I just can't see Gunther fighting someone who's
It's
not
the big
heel.
guy effect, though. I don't know if it would be that he has to necessarily be face or heel. It's just the fact that, like, he's a force.
Yeah.
He knows what his goal is, and it's to be the IC champion. So it's not that he's the good guy or the bad guy in the situation. He just knows he wants to beat him.
Right. Like, I like how NXT used to do stuff where heel could face heel. Yeah, okay. Like, I think Finn Balor, Adam Cole had something like that.
Oh, Eddie talking about old NXT again.
You like
It's
old
always,
NXT
it's
too.
always old NXT.
I can talk
with
new
Eddie.
NXT. I can talk NXT from day one. I can talk NXT when it was a freaking game show.
Yeah.
I can
bet
talk
you
all of that.
I bet you can.
I can.
It's always NXT with this guy.
All right, dude. Look, point is, after, if not leading up to that fight, after that fight, one of them will be face. That's what I
If
think.
Bronson Reed were to face Gunther,
I think it's going to be kind of a Gunther versus Sheamus effect.
I think that would be.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they on opposite shows now? Sheamus is on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, Gunther
Yeah,
versus
he's
Sheamus
just
effect.
saying, like, coming out
Oh,
of that,
okay.
one seemed more heel-esque than the other.
Yeah, like how Sheamus just went so over after their match.
Yeah.
I think that would happen to Bronson Reed because I think that would be a very, very good match. But at the same time, I don't think Gunther's going to lose anytime soon.
How long? I mean, he's over 500 days, right?
I could see him.
He's gonna break the honky tonk man.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That he shouldn't even have that record in the first place. Sorry. But I think,
He's just the honky tonk man.
how long has he held that title? Is it just a year?
I thought it was over 500 by now, but I could definitely be wrong. Let me look it up real quick. Gunther. Current.
He's the longest reigning of the 21st century.
I see. Title reign.
How the hell did they let the honky tonk, the longest
see.
reigning intercontinental champion?
Really, Google? You couldn't just give me a number? His reign is the longest of the 21st century and the third longest reign in championships history.
Who's second?
It's not even giving me how many days he's currently champion. Let me be more specific in my.
Probably Don Morocco. He's been an intercontinental champion. Look,
Let's see.
296 days.
no way. It's only been.
Well, that was as of April.
Okay.
So I was way off by 500.
No, he's about to hit.
3 days ago,
Seems so much longer. in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, he's been killing it, man.
it's a cool time because it seems like they're actually putting in people, and we're gonna talk about this during like SmackDown, for example, but it just seems like we're actually gonna start seeing more people in feuds that we wouldn't have normally seen in the past to get more TV time, and it's just gonna add more diversity instead of seeing the same things over and over. Gunther has the ability to have matches with multiple different styles of people and make it look good. So even if they are to lose, I don't think they come out losing with having a feud against him.
I think so too.
If we got the Vince McMahon wasn't head of creative at this point, but I think Vince understands how big of a box office attraction Gunther is and what he can do and how he can go. Where I thought the only guy who could actually beat him was Braun Strowman when he came back. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of makes the most sense in terms of what they've gone for in the past. And like every match that they had was close besides the one against Madcap Moss. Thank God it wasn't close. But like the one against Rey Mysterio was super freaking close.
Yeah, Gunther has that effect. He has the ability to make you believe.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Also, I finally got an answer. 343 days. So he's coming up on a year.
Are you gonna hit a year on Saturday?
I don't know, technically no, because June 10th.
He has a couple or a few weeks.
June 10th is the day that he won it. So theoretically a year from June 10th would be June 10th.
Another one that I would think, because of the way that they're building it up right now, but if the way becomes a thing again, you could see like a Johnny Gargano and Gunther feud.
Oh no, about that one either. I'm like, Gunther, I could see Gunther holding the championship into a title reign. I could see.
Kind of like an Ultimate Warrior type deal. I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, kind of like the X Division situation. Not necessarily turning in the title, but he could vacate it once he won.
Yeah.
Because like Seth held the U.S. championship and the WWE championship at the same time.
Yeah, I do talk about all that because I was meant to mention the same thing with Keith Lee when he held the title, vacated the North American.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I mean, WWE is a mixed history of that. Sometimes they'll let people hold both. Sometimes they won't.
Right.
We're in that weird time because everybody thinks that everybody who's in a reign right now, I believe, except for Gunther, is in a reign of terror.
I mean, obviously,
in Austin Theory, I'll say I do believe that someone should beat him at this point,
Please.
but Austin Theory,
Please.
but like Bianca and Roman, and you can put Gunther in there, but we want Gunther in that spot.
Up until else, there was a very big cluster of champions that were just
that have been
been the champion for a while.
Right.
And even when the U.S. championship was changing, it was between the same three people multiple times.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the changing of the guard with the World Heavyweight Championship will really help that too.
Right.
Now, is this like the part of history we're in right now? I like the fact that people have lengthier title reigns, but in your guys' opinion, was it more exciting back in like late 2000s, early 2010s, where you did see a lot of title changes and you would expect that?
Yes and no. It was more exciting because it was, some would argue it was less predictable. Some would argue it was more predictable.
Right.
I would argue it was less predictable back then because of how many times the world, like right now, it's so predictable.
Right.
Roman Reigns wins,
dirt
LOL, right?
Yeah.
What?
It's dirt sheets. It's people being too involved in the backstage aspect of it, because we've heard rumors that Roman's keeping the belt into 2024. Like, so we don't expect any match that he's going to have with anybody. He's going to lose the belt.
Well, and this is going to sound super ironic from someone who's chosen to enter the industry via podcast, but like I stay away from dirt sheets as far as possible. Like I even, I'm about to enter my 30s next year, but even as an adult, I don't like, just like movies and TV shows, I don't like spoiling it for myself. I don't really like rumors. Like I just want to watch the product, be surprised when it happens, and just enjoy it as it's happening. So
that's where, as the casual fan, like
yeah.
the kids of now, and plus like you guys who don't look into it yourselves, like it can seem that way, but even then, you guys being adults have the conceptual, sense to know that that's gonna be how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that even without dirt sheets, just given my experience, I could pretty well accurately predict what's going to happen for the next little while.
Because Roman has had really good matches recently. I mean, Sammy, Cody, these recent matches have been very close to where he could have lost.
Yeah.
But with the way the storyline for the Bloodline was playing out, we just kind of knew.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things. And, now we're starting to see the crumble of the Bloodline, which we're going to talk about here shortly, where it could become less predictable, but we'll just have to kind of go from there.
Well, speaking of predictions, I do want to go over what we think is going to happen with this World Heavyweight Championship match at this point, because it did come out this week that the reason why we're getting these backstage segments with Seth Rollins is because he's filming the new Captain America movie, Captain America New World Order. So, I mean, AJ even managed to bring it up in his promo at this point, so it's more or less public knowledge, both in and out of the WWE universe. I mean, do we think that Seth Rollins dipping his toes into Hollywood is going to prevent them from wanting to put the belt on him?
No, in my opinion. I think he could still win. I think it's more likely for him to win because of how over he actually is.
I think it's a good thing.
I think before he was filming, I definitely said he was going to win. And even after learning that he's doing this side project, I still think he's going to win, but I'd be lying if I said my odds went down.
But I'm saying, because like people who see this movie sometime down the line, whenever it is out, or even just because he's in the filming aspect of it, him having the World Heavyweight Championship would be more of a booster in terms of a marketing ploy for WWE.
Yeah, and they've always said that about wrestlers that go into Hollywood. Like they wanted that to happen for The Rock, they wanted that to happen for John Cena.
And they get dragged into.
Yeah, like it's like they always get too far out, and like it stops becoming about WWE. Do I genuinely think that might not happen to Seth Rollins? Maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is Seth's first movie. I mean, I don't know which role he's playing in the movie, so I don't know if it's a main character or side character or what it is, but
yeah, I'm not sure either.
I mean,
I think it was a villain, but I don't know if it was a main villain.
If we start hearing him diving more and more into more movies, then yeah, I would probably be a little bit more worried, but
yeah.
I think it helps that he's married to Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch is in the WWE, and I think that'll prevent him from not doing as much or just being more involved with wrestling, where John Cena had off and on relations with other wrestlers.
Yeah.
But like nothing serious till the point where he had Nikki Bella. And then like The Rock never had that issue. So I feel like we're at the point where Seth, this championship, in my opinion.
It's been how long since he's been a world champ? 5 years now?
4 years, 5 years.
4 or 5 years now? Since he's been a world champ.
Yeah.
It's just, and like I said, I think WWE's purposely not saying what happens to AJ if he wins, because like he is a SmackDown drafted superstar, but they're not saying if he would move over because he got drafted as part of the OC. So like, he wins, does the whole OC move to Raw with him?
Genuinely, I'm not even sure I believe that, because Bianca and Rhea have not belt swapped yet.
I know.
So
my thoughts on that, just to go into a different tangent on that, but I think Night of Champions is when that will.
You think if both of them win, they'll just swap it out, call it a day?
Yeah,
I could see that.
I also want heel AJ Styles and heel. I want that so bad, especially for something like what we're doing now. And if they move, I think he's a good heel. I really, really think he's a good heel.
I think so too. The only problem I have with AJ Styles as a heel is that I don't know what it is about AJ Styles and his character, but historically speaking, face AJ Styles wins and heel AJ Styles loses.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's only because of the lengthy title reign. Like, he did win as a heel still.
Yeah.
I just think at the time of what they were going, he shouldn't have held the title as long as he did. I'm glad he did, but that was Shinsuke's title.
Yeah. Oh, at WrestleMania, that's when
Yeah,
that
that was
should've-
Shinsuke's
Yeah,
title.
100%.
It was Joe's title. It was a lot of people's title.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time though, like face AJ Styles is cool and all, but like I'm kind of with you. Like I was very high on the fact that Seth Rollins would win. I was probably like 90-10 that Seth would win over AJ. And now I'm probably like 70-30. I'm not convinced that AJ Styles will win at all.
Oh, really?
I'm Seth Rollins. I think
I
that'll
agree
happen.
with you. On the OC, it looks like a heel faction anyway. The way that they're dressed, the way everything is, it doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't seem like the savior faction.
Yeah.
They seem like the beat 'em down faction.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I would like to see them as heels too, but I don't dislike them as faces.
I just think like
They don't do as much when they're face.
No.
That's for sure.
it feels like a sub branch of Bullet Club.
That's
Just because
exactly what it
It is a
is.
sub branch of Bullet Club, and they're a heel faction.
Yeah.
Those people, when they're not in the WWE, are heel. They're not face ever.
Yeah.
So I think they need to be heel.
Well, and we need Gallows and Anderson to be like in the tag team
But they
division.
are literally when they're not in WWE. And
They
that's one of
only
the best
show up
tag
when
teams
AJ shows up.
Yeah.
So it's like they're only the OC. It's not them separately. They're not going for the tag team championships, which I don't understand because they have great matches with everybody. So like put them in the tag team division even when AJ's not around them.
They don't. Gallows is a former singles champion. Or Gallows, not Gallows. Anderson is a former singles champion. He is such a good wrestler.
He could verse Austin
Yeah.
Theory and have a
Fight-
clinic of
yeah,
a match.
He could
with
fight
him.
whoever the hell he wants. Like, even give him a singles run if you're not going to do any of this stuff with them as a tag team. Like, Gallows is an enforcer. Gallows can be there as an enforcer, and he'll
Yeah.
still be as relevant in that role, in my opinion.
Yep.
Well, overall, I think we kind of agree. Seth Rollins is probably still gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean, does anything happen with AJ Styles? Because like this is kind of AJ Styles' reintroduction into the main event scene in the first place. But if he loses, he just stays on SmackDown where Roman Reigns is the champ. It's not like he's gonna get a rematch against Seth Rollins for that belt.
He was
So does he-
rumored. I mean, he was rumored to be one of Roman's next 3 opponents at some point.
So he'll stay in the main event then? That's what
Yeah.
I was worried about, was that they're just going to call him. And he, he's in that position. He can be in the main event whenever they need him to. But I just like, for one match,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It was him, Bobby, and Karrion Kross that were the 3 labeled next opponents for Roman Reigns.
I mean, we can go and talk about that now, but did you see the Karrion Kross backstage segment last night on SmackDown?
Yeah.
I did not.
He did a new card segment, a new tarot card segment, and it had AJ Styles on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good indicator that like AJ is probably not going to win.
AJ has a lot of targets on him.
Well, yeah,
Grayson got in his face last night.
during the Grayson
Karrion's
Waller
doing
effect,
the tarot
yeah.
card.
He's giving me Carrion an age. That's so bad. And please let Carrion go over. Please.
AJ to start elevating people, then that's what it is. AJ is going to elevate Seth, get him into his new title run, and then they'll have, if they have Seth put over Karrion Kross, that'll actually start building him back up.
Also, another thing, you guys, I hope you know how stingy Karrion Kross is on what he does, who wrestles, all this stuff.
Oh yeah, he wants a lot of creative control.
He probably is getting paid much more money than people think, and even more than I think at the same time.
Yeah,
Like, more than probably half the roster just because of the character he was able to build outside of WWE. So I feel like I don't understand why they don't push any of that.
well, he's starting to get a push now. We'll just see if he gets put over on AJ or not. But
I just don't want it to be the one vignette, him doing the tarot card pull,
And then
to
nothing.
then go into a match, did nothing. Because like the Rey Mysterio
I was
feud
gonna
was
say,
flat nothing.
yeah, there has not been a resolution to the whole Rey Mysterio
It's,
thing.
it's
So
the
hopefully,
Bray Wyatt effect too, which that's a whole other thing. And just
Mm.
if you're gonna start something, finish it with something. Like it's not just don't put them on TV if you don't think you're gonna be able to finish their story.
all right, well, because that just makes me sad.
It does make me
Like
sad.
the way that the Karrion Kross thing went with Rey Mysterio, that makes me a little sad. I wish they would have played that out better, but hopefully with Karrion Kross going after AJ Styles this time, it'll be a little bit better. But speaking of having a better time the second time around, Indus Sher debuting with Veer Mahan, and this time Veer Mahan actually looks like he's a part of something that matters, because when he was having his singles run and it took him 2 years to show up, and then he finally showed up, went over on a couple jobbers, then left. This time with this tag team, especially being led by Jinder Mahal, I don't know about you guys, it just felt more important.
They also gave us the authentic tag team that was supposed to be Indus Sher.
Yeah.
Instead of Shanky. They gave us Sangha, who was his original tag team partner with Veer. And they didn't put Shanky in a little whatever the hell with Jinder.
Shanky was so awkward with his
hope
long limbs and his dancing.
It's kind of weird that I'm bringing them up anyway because they're rumored to potentially come back, but I don't want it to be another Authors of Pain situation.
Oh, yeah.
They are pretty injury prone, actually. That team is pretty injury prone. So
Indus Sher?
They are. Because the reason Sangha didn't get called up is because they were about to get called up and then he got injured. And then they're like, boom, Shanky, another Indian guy. Sorry, that's what it was, though.
Yeah.
So, Vince thought that could be a good replacement, but it was not even close to being a good replacement. It was the authentic tag team. Then it could have been pretty big, pretty important. Now, I think we can get to that point.
Do you feel like they get treated like a Viking Raiders, though?
Maybe, where they go over on enhancement talent just to put over other tag teams.
They have a mouthpiece that says they're going to rain terror over everybody just to get jobbed.
We'll see. I mean, I like to think that maybe they'll recognize what they have on their hands this time, because I do genuinely think that this tag team will do well if given the right booking and opportunity, which I guess you could technically say about any tag team, but this one in particular, I liked a lot more than I thought I would.
I also think just with the amount of tag teams that they have a pretty deep tag team division, which is nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're seeing all of these tag teams get thrown into the loop where it's and then you have Braun and Ricochet, which I still...
Are they still a tag team? I know they got drafted together, but have we seen them since?
They haven't been on TV nearly as much.
Ricochet
had singles matches, and then Braun was with him. But that'll bring us, talking about tag teams, but that'll bring us into something when we get to SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and get there now, because there wasn't really anything too special about Indus Sher. They showed up, they put over some jobbers.
I know what you're going to talk about it. Yeah, well, thank God, Rick Boogs and LA Knight.
That is not what we... Oh, I mean, maybe that's what you were talking about. That's not what I was going to talk about, but I actually loved that match.
So I loved it, but I kind of like where they're going with the LA Knight thing, and then we can just jump into this here real quick. Because it sounds like they're gonna do the recycled partners thing until he finds the right person, or he's gonna keep bouncing through people and get super fed up. And I think this ultimately leads to him winning Money in the Bank.
Well, they'll give it. He'll try the tag team division, and through the Money in the Bank ladder match, he'll go with the screw it, I'll do it by myself kind of deal.
Yeah.
I actually loved the idea of them winning and becoming a tag team, because I think LA Knight and Rick Boogs together is hilarious.
I love Rick Boogs.
I just don't like Rick Boogs. I'm sorry.
But
I don't like him as a wrestler. His character's
great. His character's great. He's not bad in the ring, though.
No, he's not bad in the ring, but will he ever be anything? Probably not.
No, he's everything Simon Dean wishes he was.
Yeah.
But no, the thing about Rick Boogs and LA Knight, again, I really wish that had gone a little bit more. I wish they would have won a couple matches first, because I actually think it means more. It'll actually speak more to LA Knight's character if they have him go into a random tag team, win once or twice, and then on the first loss, just turn on him immediately. You know what I mean? It's one thing to lose the first match and turn on him, whatever.
Which he did.
Yeah, but it's another thing if you all right, we won a match. Okay, we won another match. Maybe we could do this. First loss. This loser, I've been carrying him for 3 weeks. LA Knight, just goes right into it.
It's very funny how his finisher is very close to a stunner.
I thought he was stunning him.
I thought he was about to
I was
stunner
like, oh
him,
my
and I'm like, Kevin
goodness.
Owens has it, but he straight up kicked him and got him in it, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus Christ.
Eddie, you look like you got something.
Have you guys seen his finisher before that?
Yeah, I've seen it before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was the gut kick.
It was the setup.
Yeah.
I thought he was picking him up like, you stupid.
Yeah.
Dude, I want him to somewhere, not the tag team stuff. And I like, as much as I like the idea of him like going into the Money in the Bank and winning the Money in the Bank, I just think it'll happen.
Well, do you
I
think
they're purposely keeping him away
Well-
from all the like main title talk to get him there.
Well, not only that, but like we're forgetting the obvious. Is it setting up a feud with Rick Boogs? Are they gonna feud?
I feel like Rick Boogs is always the character that's gonna be like, well, why won't you be my tag team partner? Because he did that with
can't
Elias.
do anything.
He's friggin'
Rick Boogs is awesome.
Look,
And
dude,
that's saying something coming from me because I turned Rick Boogs into a meme for like 2 years after the Royal Rumble.
the Royal Rumble 2021.
Yeah, the one that was
Yeah.
in St. Louis. Because I
You're like, who is Rick Boogs?
well, because so the story is I didn't watch wrestling during the Thunderdome era at all. I was
Yeah.
like, if there's no fans, I
That was a
can't watch.
sour
I
time.
watched that WrestleMania, like with Drew and
Yeah.
Brock, and then after that, I did not watch until I should say COVID because I actually did come back and start to watch when the Thunderdome was a thing again, but only for like a month before that WrestleMania where they brought back a crowd and then went back to the Thunderdome. I watched a little bit there. So I had no idea what was going on in wrestling by the time the Royal Rumble came to St. Louis. So literally it was like Ridge Holland, Rick Boogs, like a whole bunch of names I had never heard of before. And Rick Boogs was the one that stuck in my head. So for like months after the Royal Rumble, I was like, yeah, who's going to come out and challenge him next? Rick fucking Boogs? Like who are these people? What's going on?
dude, I think my next project that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna review every Thunderdome and I think that's gonna be my next project.
Oh,
So we
I
just
may.
lost at least one view from that.
yeah, I'm out. I'm not.
Well, it's going to be more of like a. I'm gonna
It should be
see
a collective
what they
video of
could have
everything.
done differently to make it
Mm-hmm.
more entertaining because there
So
were
many
certain
things that happened with
were
no crowd.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Carlito's first return was with no crowd.
Dude,
That was really
Christian's
sad.
return. I will
know.
never forgive WWE for having Christian return in front of no one, reuniting Edge and Christian for one night during
Hugging
a
in front
Royal
of no
Rumble,
one.
hugging in front of no one, and then not signing him and letting him go to AEW. I will never forgive them for
But
that.
you know what that led to?
It does what?
Christian was the first person to beat the belt collector, dude. Like
Yes, and that
it
was a
for
really
a very minor.
and that was a really cool moment
yeah.
for all of the indie nut huggers that want to be up against WWE. Yeah.
I don't want to be against WWE. Competition's good. There's no.
Don't give it. Yes, that is true. Competition is good. And you know what? I watched that match. I watched him win
Oh, it was beautiful.
I watched him win the B Show World Title against Kenny Omega.
It was a world title.
It
I
was a
just
B.
happy.
It was the
It was the C
EC.
show.
It was the
Impact.
ECW 2008
Get
World
out of
Title.
here, dude.
Impact.
That show.
It wasn't
Yeah, that
even
show.
AEW's.
That show's so far up its own ass and doesn't know what it's doing that they had two different world titles describing two different eras of its show happening at one time. He won the TNA Impact Championship. What?
What are you talking about?
When he won that belt, there was two belts: the TNA Championship and the Impact
It was the
Championship,
King of the Mountain.
because they
champ-
didn't know what the
Was it
hell.
not? What was it?
No, he
No, 'cause
won.
Moose was holding the TNA belt,
Yeah,
and and then Kenny
Rich
had
Swann.
Rich Swan before Kenny got it was holding.
yeah. Rich Swann was
Okay.
holding.
Moose was holding
Okay.
the original TNA
Okay.
belt.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I
Bobby
think I
Roode
can
and all
put
them.
some more clarification to this because maybe he changed the name of it. Okay, that's not what the belt was. I don't think the belt was the TNA Championship.
It was the
because
TNA
It was
World
the-
Heavyweight Championship.
why did they bring back the TNA World Heavyweight Champion?
That was the whole
That's
thing.
my point, Eddie. Is
Moose
that they
returned
didn't
with
know
it.
what they were doing, and they had a unification match.
I remember all of the stuff that happened with it. Like I remember Moose and Kenny Omega fighting. I remember
Well,
them
it was
unifying with
before
Rich
that.
Swann.
Yeah, it was before that. It was Rich Swann versus Moose to unify these belts because Moose straight up walked out on an episode of Impact one day was like, I'm the TNA champion. And everyone was like, where did you even find that belt? It's the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. That's what Rich Swann has. And Moose was like, no, I'm the TNA champ. We're going to bring back TNA. And they thought they were cool. And then in reality, they unified those belts so that Kenny Omega could drop them to Christian because he couldn't be bothered to lose the actual World Heavyweight Championship. The AEW one. I'm still mad
about it. I'm mad about, but he still beat the guy in wrestling at that time.
I mean, yeah, he did. Through shenanigans, but yes, he did.
Through Kenny's own shenanigans.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's even better in my opinion. You kill switch him on a chair, like I could.
We're moving on. LA Knight's probably gonna lose his feud to Rick Boogs. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. But I do want to talk about the opening segment on SmackDown last night between the Bloodline and the Usos. I thought that the Bloodline and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn that eventually involved the Usos because I thought that was really cool.
Speaking of not being very Usy,
dude,
like,
well, and it's crazy because I think that I felt what WWE actually wanted me to feel for once because I'm a big promo guy. I love promos, and I feel like they were about to start really getting into it, and then the Usos interfered. So I actually did have the same thoughts Roman Reigns did, where I was like,
I didn't call you out.
Yeah,
here.
he's like, why did you guys do that? I wanted to get stuff off my chest. And as a fan, I was like, I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Man was about to cook and then the Usos ruined everything.
Yeah, dude. So that was actually a really cool moment.
Like, yeah, man, dab me up. And he's like, no.
Like, yeah, dude, he almost sent Solo on him too. It was so funny.
And then he did the whole thing where he just like gets out of the ring before something happens.
Yeah. Before Solo did, I saw Roman look like scared when he asked Solo that.
Yeah.
Do we get the breakup at Night of Champions, or do we get Solo and Roman versus the Usos at Money in the Bank? That completely breaks it.
It depends on what happens at Night of Champions, because my theory is Roman and Solo Roman's gonna tell the Usos to just stay in the back. Roman's gonna tell them, Solo and I got it. We don't need you. Whatever. That's going to lead to one of two outcomes. Either Kevin or Sami is going to pin Solo, and the Usos will never have gone out there to save him, and Roman's going to be mad about that. He's going to be mad for their malicious compliance of never coming out. Or they look like they're about to lose. The Usos come out to try to interfere anyway, even though Roman told them not to. They think, again, it's another one of those, they think they're doing the right thing. And then somehow through their shenanigans, they end up costing them the match. And that's what Roman... Either way, I think Sami and Kevin are going to win, and something's going to happen with the Usos where Roman, it's going to be the final straw, and they'll have their match at Money in the Bank or whatever.
And then where's Solo's mind in it? Because he's kind of played in as like the middle guy of like who side to go to
between his tribal chief and his brothers.
You said if Solo gets pinned, and that's where I'm like, maybe Roman flips on Solo at that point.
It could be, because I mean, Roman's not getting pinned, right? Like they have to. That's why they're doing it as a tag match, so that Roman can lose but not lose, because Solo has to eat the pin here.
Right, exactly.
So I don't know. I think, well, and that's the other thing, because if they do it the second version where the Usos come out and cause some sort of distraction or shenanigans, Roman could blame them for distracting Solo.
And yeah, that could be right.
You know what I mean? Like that's where my head's kind of at right now.
Why do the play where Roman smacked Solo on accident as he was getting out of the ring if there's like just to make it look like turmoil's being stirred between them two?
What are you talking about?
On SmackDown when he was leaving the ring and he shoulder bumped him on the way out.
I thought he like tapped his shoulder. I don't remember him doing his shoulder.
He like ran into him and then Solo was like, what?
Oh.
And then he got out of the ring.
I must have missed that. I don't know.
Yeah.
He just looked ticked and Roman looked like scared.
He's like, okay, I'm out of here. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, Roman's probably right to be scared of Solo because I genuinely think they're like crock pot level slowly cooking Solo to take over for Roman as the main singles guy. Like, I think It's going to be a very long, slow build, but once it's ready, it's going to be like that. It's going to be crazy.
Needs to
Solo
have a
beats
feud.
Roman, and we don't get a different champion. It's just a different version of Roman.
Right. What'd you say?
He needs to have a feud. The Riddle thing I was actually going to start enjoying. I'm like, that actually
Yeah.
kind of works. It's like, you're going to build this guy up as Humaga. Riddle can be the Jeff Hardy-esque type of guy. Like, that feud
The
was
Riddle's
awesome.
on Raw now, though.
Yeah, and that's what kind of, I'm like, no, because I didn't want that at all. I'm like, put Riddle on the same show as
I
them
think
and
Solo
have
just
them.
needs to go destroy Austin Theory. Or not Riddle. Solo needs to go destroy Austin Theory and wrap that up.
I was surprised that when the Usos had both tag belts and Roman had both main events, that they didn't just send Solo to go get both mid-card belts and actually have the Bloodline have everything minus the women's titles. Like, I thought they were going to do that.
And do everybody versus the Bloodline.
Well, and dude, here's the deal. There's a small part of the back of my head that is picturing Roman holding 4 belts.
I mean, I could. At that point, they're just taking the belt collector.
They're just
type-
they're taking the piss.
And then
can't
he's
make-
going to call Seth out at the end of Night of Champions and be like, come on.
No way.
You can't make a. Okay, that's another thing. You can't make a belt collector. You can make a belt collector in WWE, but it's not as authentic as like belt collector outside of WWE.
because there's not multiple promotions
Yeah.
involved. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you can give them the tag title. Sure, it's like not a big deal. You can give them. There was a story mode in the WWE one year where like this man
Sheamus.
had every championship ever.
Yeah, he had every
European
championship.
really?
championship, hardcore
He
championship.
had, he had like 12 belts on him.
In the story mode, like they
Like the
wrote.
ref was just like
Why? Oh my goodness! I
Yeah,
mean,
like
he's
the
certainly.
belts
I
are
mean,
worth-
don't get me wrong. He's certainly worth that. But like,
Yeah, he had
Wow.
like every WWE men's belt and
is that where that meme came from?
yes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now. I didn't know that.
Yes, it was the WWE 12 Road to the Show
Yeah.
type thing. Road to
Ugh.
WrestleMania.
All right. Well, I mean, ultimate predictions. Who do you think's gonna win the tag team belts at Night of Champions?
Sammy and Kevin.
And then they need to either have a actual feud with a different tag.
Well, that'll be okay. Secret time.
Secret.
There's a third moment that's been lingering in the back of my head
Okay.
where Solo gets knocked out of the equation or something like that. The Usos either are not in the equation or they're staying in the back like they're told to. Roman goes through stunner, haluva kick, whatever. And to finish this storyline with Sammy and Kevin, it's Kevin's foot, Sammy's foot. They're both standing. They both pin Roman. And like,
Oh, okay.
no, Nia Jax had nothing to do with it.
I was waiting
I'm
for
like,
it.
I was
No.
holding it because you didn't start giggling at first. I'm like, did he actually do it? Did
No.
I not notice it for once?
No. But like, could you like picture the moment where finally they hit so many finishers on Roman? He's on his back, flat in the middle of the ring. Kevin Owens one foot, Sami Zayn the other foot. That way they both pin him to make up for a Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber. And Roman eats a
And
pin.
then you have a picture of Solo and the Usos just kind of staring at Roman
Yeah,
laying
like-
Kevin
flat in
straight
the
up
ring.
lost like 8 times.
Yeah,
World Championship
so like
matches to Roman Reigns.
that would be the ultimate button on the. It wouldn't be the end of the Bloodline storyline, but it would be the end of the Bloodline storyline involving Sammy and Kevin.
Right.
They would be able to move on to whatever new tag team, and then the Bloodline story will finish out with however those two tag teams decide to play out over the next couple months.
Right.
But like that's the secret third option in the back of my head, where it's like, wow, they really could just have both of them pin Roman.
I don't think Roman getting pinned till
I don't think so either.
WrestleMania next year.
That's the main
Well-
thought of my head.
Well, no, that goes against my theory.
That does go against your Survivor Series
Yeah,
theory.
no,
so,
Survivor Series. I'm still on that.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, after that, we got to talk about Liv Morgan's injury and the vacation of the women's tag team belts.
No, what
But
this
Raquel
means-
is still in the match that they're having a fatal 4-way for with a mystery partner.
Did you see that
Who
her
wants
graphic
to
last
play
night?
with Nikki?
Her graphic last night during her interview still had the women's tag team belt and it still said women's tag team champion Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, and then in the interview they said former women's tag team champion.
So they just hadn't quite figured that out yet, but
Nope.
No, maybe this is where they plug Aaliyah back in. I mean,
Aaliyah and Raquel.
yeah, maybe. I
Is
still don't
she
want
is
them to
she
win.
still injured?
I don't think
is
she's
she
still
healed?
injured.
No,
I
she's
think she's been
she's
healed
been
for a long
vocal
time.
actually.
Yeah.
She was vocal on Twitter and stuff during times where she could have came back and be like, "Oh, I'm still sitting here."
Well, I think next week we're gonna find out who her partner is because during that same backstage segment,
Yeah, it's whenever
Bailey and Io challenged Raquel and whoever to. Why are you looking at me like that?
Doing.
Oh, sorry, but yeah. I think we'll find out who her tag team
you want
partner
the
is.
ultimate tag team, Randy.
What?
You got the powerhouse tag team. You get Raquel and who?
Dakota
he's
Kai.
not-
Dakota Kai? Is
He's
she
not. He's not doing
Oh,
it.
I don't want that. No. No.
what?
Ew.
Raquel and what? Like Charlotte
I-
comes back?
I did see something. Don't do that. No. So I saw something about maybe they have an Australia show for WWE and they bring back the Iconics.
Oh, dude, that would be sick.
Because they're not with Impact anymore, are they?
No, do you have something I can throw at him? You see, the unfortunate thing is
Why do you need to throw something at
that's,
me?
well,
He
that's,
took
my,
his sock off and doing it now.
What are you talking about?
that's my stand. Here, I'll take a video.
Off the
What?
camera, Randy is stroking the
I don't know
camera
what you're talking
stand
about.
with his toes.
Look, if we want to talk about the ultimate tag team partner
This is
for Raquel
becoming-
Rodriguez, you know it's got to be Nia Jax.
Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what I was telling you to do, but you
Yeah, I
wouldn't
know.
do it.
I know. No, but I think if we get Nia Jax to just come back, guys, bring it back.
I just zoomed in on your foot.
My foot isn't doing anything,
Dude, well, hopefully we can post that in the video without getting demonetized.
dude. First off, if you do, you got to
I'm gonna
charge
blur
people.
it. I'm gonna blur
I'm
his
not
foot.
giving
Yeah.
out feet
You
pics
put
for
it in
free.
there.
But no, okay. So genuinely though, let's bring it back. Who do you think is going to be Raquel's tag team partner? You think it'll be
I don't-
Aaliyah or
One of those situations where I really don't care.
there's a not 0% chance it is Nia Jax. She's been training for an in-ring return, and who knows if she's going to be face or heel.
I don't want her. I don't want Raquel Rodriguez in the tag title picture.
You want her to be a singles person?
I do, because she deserves to be a singles person.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous, man.
Alexa Bliss.
it could be Alexa Bliss, but does she come back Bray Wyatt it up, or does she come back?
I think she has to come back Bray Wyatt it up.
Why?
He was Bray Wyatt it up last time.
There's
And then they have to send her back to therapy or something.
There's
and
a
then-
small part of me that just wants Bray Wyatt to go away forever so we can stop dealing with this.
I do too.
Which I know is going to upset you, and it upsets me too.
I've accepted it.
It makes me upset too because I love Bray Wyatt and I love his character and I love what he's capable of, but I'm tired of this like back and forth. They can't get on the same page.
It's confirmed that that's mainly the reason why Alexa's not on TV.
Yeah,
and
it
that
brings
Bo
too
is
many.
actually signed, and so that also almost confirms the whole Uncle Howdy thing,
Yeah,
and that Bray is just still out with some form of undisclosed something.
like too many people get involved.
You know how many times I've let that guy in? You know
Yeah.
how many times, man?
Yeah, dude.
Too many to count. And he's just gonna keep going away. I don't know. Like, hey, he may be sick. Like, if he's sick,
If
completely
he's sick or
understand.
injured, then by all means, take the time you need to come back.
Yeah.
But come out with a
bad
statement.
timing.
Come out with a statement that says, "Sorry to keep you guys waiting. This is my injury. Here's my timeline."
Well, he's not gonna do that because
just-
he's too
it's-
deep into character.
It's just like Undertaker. If he was ever gone for some reason, he was never going to say why.
that man
Yeah.
dislocated his finger at a house show and then went on TV the next week and started doing all of his stuff again.
Yeah,
I thought that was the time where it's like, okay, he's gonna be on the shelf for a little bit.
yeah.
But that was like a couple weeks before Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. And we were there.
Dang, only match so far, right?
Yeah, right. Well, here, we'll bring it back. Raquel Rodriguez and mystery partner. Who do we think is going to win this Fatal 4-Way and be the new tag champs? Do you think they just put it back on Raquel and whoever?
Who are the teams?
Hold on,
So
hold on.
you... Sorry, go ahead.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ronda
Ronda
Rousey and Shayna.
Yeah, so it's Ronda and Shayna, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, Raquel Rodriguez and random partner, and then I forgot the fourth women's. Bailey and Io. I
Yeah,
believe.
Bailey and Io.
I hope Shayna and Ronda. Please.
They might as well at this point just pull the trigger on it and let them have their lengthy tag team title run that should have started at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Dang, this is the most irrelevant Ronda Rousey's been too.
Good.
That's
she
kind of
needs.
weird.
I actually am a really big fan of that because I think that for a long time we were setting the wrong example of athletes or celebrities that were coming into the business and going straight to the main event, but staying there.
Right.
Like, I think it's actually good for Ronda and maybe even Logan Paul or Bad Bunny to like stop main eventing and go do a mid card match or you know what I mean? Like, that'll be good for them.
But they're not like, no offense to Ronda in this case, because I don't think she's actually.
Bless you.
What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think Ronda's bad. I really don't. I think she has improved immensely.
No, she was never really that bad. I mean, she
No.
wasn't. Did
But-
she win her first world title maybe a little bit earlier than she should have? Yes, but ultimately her real life work helps carry that.
Right. Like, I think Bad Bunny, personally speaking, this is nothing against Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I think Bad Bunny may have had a better match than Logan Paul has had with anybody yet.
I would only agree with that because it was a street fight and it had too many run-ins. Take away the street fight and take away the run-ins and have Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in a regular match where regular rules apply, and Logan Paul will have a better match every time.
Okay, so Logan and Roman was probably his best match.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Him and Miz wasn't even bad either.
No, it was not bad, and I agree with that. I think Bad Bunny, just the two matches he's actually had,
Yeah.
I think no one expected him to have that much in-ring ability, and he swept the floor with everybody. With Logan Paul, he was an athlete. We kind of expected that.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey, of course, athlete. We kind of expected that. Bad Bunny was just like, he's a rapper. We don't know how this is going to go. Man's absolutely killing it when he was doing it. Also, I did not realize how he sized up with Damian Priest. I did not know how he was actually that tall.
I would the thing with Bad Bunny in general is that if you want to sit here and say that he's had better matches than Logan Paul, you can, but you also have to address the fact that you're just straight up grading on a different scale based off of expectations.
I am.
Because that's the only way to make it fair. Because if you put them on the same scale, if you graded them on the same criteria, Logan Paul is leaps and bounds better than Bad Bunny. I don't think that's a controversial statement.
I'm looking at it in terms of who has
where their expectations were versus where they came in. Yeah, Bad Bunny further exceeded his expectations than Logan Paul did his, but that's still both of them going from like here to here. You know what I mean? Like Logan Paul just is still higher, in my opinion.
I just think like
I understand what you're saying.
I expect Logan Paul to have good matches. I don't expect Bad Bunny to be the most over wrestler or celebrity wrestler. I'll use that. Logan Paul is a wrestler at this point. He's not a celebrity wrestler. Right. He is a wrestler.
All I was going to say was they were in Puerto Rico.
They were in Puerto Rico.
That is a factor.
Not over as in like fan-wise. I mean like over as in holy crap, he is doing so well at wrestling. Okay. Yeah, in that way. And I thought he did insane.
I think so too.
Back to Ronda though. Like they need this.
Yeah.
I get so far.
It's fine. That's the point of these. We're off the cuff. It's unscripted content.
That was last week's episode.
Last week's. Let us know in the comments just how far off subject we got on last week's episode. Sorry, I had to do the whole YouTube thing. We'll move on. So 2 different tag teams debuted on SmackDown last night, and then we talked about Grayson Waller also debuting the Grayson Waller effect last night. He had AJ Styles on the Grayson Waller effect, and for 90% of it, they almost got me. I thought Grayson Waller was a face for a second, and then at the very end, he was like, "Take notes, Jerome," or whatever he called the ring announcer. Mike Rome, whatever he called the ring announcer. And
his name?
Yeah, and he said
Jerome.
That's what I thought he said. I don't know. He's Australian. This is hard to understand
It's
sometimes.
micro.
But he goes, and new world heavyweight champion, and then he said Seth Rollins.
Freaking Rollins.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I would say that AJ, when he comes back to SmackDown without the World Heavyweight Championship, has a pick between Karrion Kross and Grayson Waller on a feud at this point.
I could not see Grayson Waller as a face, just with all of the
They
work
almost
he's
got
done.
me.
Ever.
Yeah.
No, he is not a face. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, he's naturally a heel.
If they do go do an Australia show, he needs to at least be in a feud with Austin Theory by then.
I hope so. Are they doing an Australian show?
They're in talks about it.
Oh, okay. Well, because there's so many Australians in WWE now.
There are a lot.
But after that, well, not after that, but in addition to that, we had Pretty Deadly going over on the Brawling Brutes. Now,
Pretty
this was
Deadly
my
is rough.
first.
It's awesome.
This truly was my first like full experience front to back with Pretty Deadly. I didn't know what to expect really, because I had seen their outfits and I knew they were a little bit more flamboyant or whatever. But like overall, I was very entertained with Pretty Deadly. I really enjoyed
I
what
just don't
they
like
do.
how they won. That's the only thing.
How did they? What do you mean?
I think it could have been okay. It was Pretty Deadly tactics.
They won cleanly.
They won clean. Well, no.
Yeah.
But I thought it could have been more impressive.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good way to show the universe what they could do, and like
Who did they face?
Brawling Brutes
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
kind of knocked Pete down.
Just said it.
I forgot.
I like Pretty Deadly a lot. I've been
Yeah.
big fans of Pretty Deadly for a very long time.
They quit bringing up tag teams that they won't do anything with.
Yes,
I think they'll do
boy.
something with this tag team. But the other tag team that debuted was Alba Fire and Isla Dawn went over on some local jobbers.
Bless. I'm
That
so
apparently-
happy for-
Someone said, I read a report that like they weren't actually local jobbers, they were other low tier NXT stars,
What were the
and
names?
one of them like came back after 8 months of injury.
I don't remember the
Hold on.
names,
Let me see.
but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just NXT talent who don't show up on TV, basically.
Yeah. But interesting note though, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn still had the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships
will.
with them. Are they how long do you think they'll hold those on SmackDown before they have to go lose them in NXT?
I mean, it depends. I thought, well, because
What was the date?
Katie
yesterday?
Catanzaro and all them, they
Yesterday was the 19th.
they got called up too, but they didn't debut yet on SmackDown.
Yeah, we're still waiting on some debuts for sure.
Right, and they were the ones who were, like I said, that had the tag team titles the longest before them.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if anyone was going to take it off of them, it was them. There isn't really many women's tag teams in NXT anymore. I think that's the reason why they haven't gotten them taken off.
You think they'll do a title unification and just get rid of the NXT?
That was my thoughts the other week when we were talking about it, is that they'll verse the women's tag team champions
Yeah.
I
and
don't even
unify
know these
those two
people.
titles.
Are you seeing the report I saw though, where one of them returned after?
Performance Center / NXT.
I know one
rookies.
of them. I've heard the name, but like they
Yeah.
barely got any TV time, if that.
Right.
But that, yeah, it should be whoever wins the women's tag team titles versus them two, and the winners are just the women's tag team champions.
Well, just so that we can unify some more belts, because that's all we're doing at this point.
Well,
is,
if they're gonna do that, then I don't think Ronda and Shayna should win. If we're gonna reunify,
why
'cause
do you think Alba
I'd-
Fire and
Can I be
Isla?
honest? I'd rather have Alba Fire and Isla Dawn because I'm in the next. But that's because I'm in.
So then get Chelsea Green and Sonya to win
Oh yeah,
by
100%.
shenanigans, and then have them two teams face Isla Dawn and Alba Fire come out and win, and then they can defend across the three brands. So
brands.
Ew, I don't like that. Whatever though.
it is what it is. If you're unifying the NXT and the WWE Women's Championships, then I feel like that's kind of a thing. But
That's the like. I do think there should only be one set of NXT Tag Team Championships. I feel like somehow, somewhere, they're gonna make one for. Personally, I think so.
Do you
do you
think
think they'll just turn them into the SmackDown Championships then?
They could. They absolutely could. I think that just like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are a very, very good tag team. They are they weren't an authentic tag team at first, but the way they've built them up in NXT, they feel like an authentic tag team.
I mean, I'll be honest. Watching them last night for the first time, very much
Right.
felt like a real tag team versus two singles that were thrown together.
It was awesome, and I think they're very good. The fact that you have Shayna and Ronda, I'm like, well, dude, they're probably the most dominant team, or should be the most dominant team ever in women's history.
They should
We're gonna
be,
they should be,
and I want them to be.
and I agree with that. But if you're going to have one set of tag team championships, it's like, well, shoot, these girls have shown me that they should be women's tag team champions, and it should stay like that. Ronda and Shayna either need to be champions or they need to get split and be singles wrestlers, or
That's the
more.
thing. It's the same argument for the singles division as it is the tag team division. Don't put two random singles people together as a tag team, or make natural tag teams. And that's the argument for Shayna and Ronda. That's the argument for Raquel and Liv. That's the argument for a lot of them. I mean, it's
Well, you
just-
know, I
Shayna
went-
and Ronda aren't random. That's the thing.
I went through.
it's not random, but they are just as good as singles as they could be together.
Well, I went through the women's tag team championship history the other day. Do you know how many sets of women's tag team champions came out to the same entrance music?
One.
What's your guess?
I think it's one.
One, it's the
one.
Iconics.
That's it.
It's iconic.
That's the only women's tag team champions ever in the history of those belts to have the same entrance music and just come out at the same time.
Yeah. Because it's never been
Only
a true tag
once.
team, only the Iconics.
Yeah, the Iconics are the only real women's tag team.
Everyone was pissed off that they won.
Yeah,
which
I
thought was-
wasn't. I thought
wasn't
they
either.
I
deserved.
was not.
I thought they deserved to inaugurate the titles.
And
Yes.
then you see the women's stars of the future getting mad that they lost the women's tag team championships, and then leave.
To me, that's the mark of a true tag team is you don't come out to, and that's ironic right now given our tag champs with Kevin and Sammy. I think it's a special circumstance for them.
Right.
I think that WWE built a natural story well enough that I can actually agree with them being a tag team, being the tag champs. But ultimately, like, I've never agreed with like, John Cena, then Shawn Michaels comes out or whatever for these tag team champions. Like,
It's like, what was your thought on like a Kane and RVD type thing?
I disagreed with it then too. In fact, the only time I ever really enjoyed it was when Big Show and Chris Jericho combined their entrance music. I was like,
And made
now they're a
Jericho.
legitimate tag team. Jericho or Miz Show, when they took their theme songs and combined it into one, and then they came out together. I was like, oh, you're showing us that you actually care to be a real tag team.
Let me throw some history that no one gives a absolute crap about. First tag team to not come out to the same entrance, and I don't know how I know this. I actually just thought of it, and going back into tag team history, I'm like, no, that's the only team I can think of. 1, 2, 3 Kid and Bob Holly
Was the first tag team
was
that you
the
can think
first tag team to not do that. Before then, I mean, you look at the 1980s tag teams, like they have to come out together, like it's a tag team.
of? Yeah.
That's in my opinion what a tag team should feel like. They have to come out together. They're a tag team. Why
Yeah.
would they come out separately?
That's exactly how I feel. Now, again, our current tag champs, different situation, but
Yeah.
the story was built such a way that I can get on board with it. But when they lose, they better lose to like the Street Profits or
Pretty deadly.
well, maybe, but like I don't know.
I mean,
I
not
think they
right now,
got some time before they.
Just a tag team.
Heavy Machinery, like, whoever.
Okay.
What?
One of them is not even in the company anymore.
American Alpha. Like let's just like real tag teams.
Alpha Academy.
No, American Alpha. I said what I said.
Dude, I'd love Jason Jordan to come back.
Or like
but
the Revival.
they're not coming back.
We thought
Yeah, right.
like almost a month ago, or 2
Almost.
months ago.
That would have been
Almost.
sick. All right. Well, I mean, that pretty much covers all the topics that we had. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we jump out of here?
What debuts haven't we seen?
Well, we actually did see. I forgot to bring it up. Cameron Grimes. We saw his debut.
Well, that was-
Squashed Baron
No.
Corbin in
That
like
was 2
5
weeks
seconds.
ago.
I don't like it. We
Hilarious.
didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about it. If you watched the episode like a true fan, you'd know that.
We didn't. I don't like that he squashed him though. I want people to watch him wrestle. Like, he's
I
good.
want people to watch him wrestle too, But I do like watching Baron Corbin get squashed. That
I
was
think
less
it's
about Cameron
ultimately
and
to
more
bring
about.
Baron Corbin back as the lone wolf. I think that's
Oh yeah, they'll have
I
to.
don't. That's
He should
one
not
guy.
still have that casino theme song.
no.
That's the first thing they need to change about Baron Corbin. Get him a new theme, give him his old theme, and then let's go with the lone wolf
He's
crap.
wearing the Wrestling God T-shirt still that
So
JBL
dumb.
had.
Well, yeah,
for
they
him.
haven't sold out of them yet,
Yeah.
so that he's got to keep wearing it until all the merch gets sold.
I just don't like him. I'm over him.
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I'm done.
If they got rid of Baron Corbin for like a year, and then brought him back to do whatever, I'd be cool with that. But like, yeah, I'm over him too.
I just like can't. When he had the Money in the Bank briefcase, that was the one point where they could have done something.
Yeah.
They didn't, which is honestly I'm fine with. Not a big deal. Not like he's life or death for the company.
Yeah.
But at the time, they kind of thought he was because they're like, we need to use him in everything.
I mean, he is the last person to pin Roman Reigns.
Who cares,
He
dude?
means something to someone.
He's also the only person to
Yeah.
feed Roman Reigns dog food, then get fed by Roman Reigns some dog food.
That was funny too. All right, gents. Well, anything else? I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Get out of here, Eddie. Socials.
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Listen to our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music.
Next time I want you to run through the socials, I need you to be like excited that we're even on social media. Yeah. Like
Listen to us on
like, put
Instagram,
some-
Twitter,
put
Facebook,
some
TikTok,
pet-
YouTube.
put some don't just sit here like you're Zach and be like Instagram, Twitter,
bacon,
some chicken, some
pizza.
Hey,
That's my Zach
hey,
impression.
Hey, you. Hey.
Hey yo.
Hey,
And just get like a zoom in and go kablam.
Oh, sorry. It was the Blame theme song from
Wiggling your
Nickelodeon. All right, cool. Well, I've been Randy. That's Zach. That's Eddie. We've been the Two of You Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Don't do it.
Let me know when you stop recording. No. Go ahead. Let me know when you stop recording. Come here. Raquel Rodriguez. No, he'll do it in post. Raquel Rodriguez would be lucky to have Nia Jax as a tag champ. They will revive the entire tag team division. They will squash Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. They will unite those tag belts. It's going to happen. Have fun. We'll see you guys next week.